Hello. Just a second. Finally got my video. All right. A couple people on there. Good morning, afternoon. How's everybody doing? Get a few more people in here and start chatting it up. Thanks everybody for being here. It's been a minute since we've done any live. Hey Nico. Yeah, just getting settled in here, working on another project. If you're following our stuff at all, our channel, you know that, hey Rainoda, James, doing all right. I had to ditch the project, the girls' bedroom project for a minute. Appreciate it. So yeah, anyways, I had to ditch the one project so that we could bounce into this one. We're working on working on a fireplace, entertainment center wall in our master bedroom. So there's the bunk bed setup that I'm working on in the other room. Anyways, I'll get back to it. So thanks Mountainscape and Anita. Thank you. Right now, I am just going to be sitting here at the table. Those who don't know, my name's Dan. My wife is Andrea. Hello, Texas. What's going on, Ken? So, little 9.5 years ago or something, I was in a construction accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Met my present wife when I was doing therapy and recovering. And we have 6 kids between the two of us. I had 2 when we met, she had 2, and then we've had 2 of them together. And yeah, now we are, our kids' ages are like 2 and 4. We have 2 11-year-olds, 2 16-year-olds. Anyways, that's a quick run-up. So yes, I'm in a wheelchair. Let's see if I can get a view without making everybody sick. But I'm in the green chair today. So I'm just trying to get some of this stuff done. Anyways, I'm just setting up here at a table. I've got to drill a bunch of holes in all these shelves to be. And there's going to be shelves on this whole side of the entertainment center, and then a desk and a cover over here on this side. So that's a rundown of what we're working on. And trying to just get reeling. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Andrea, my wife, will be kind of cruising through here. What's up, Nico? Man, that's true. Oh, funny. Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna be trying to drill this stuff, putting all these pocket hole holes into the bottom of all these shelves, so when I do the shelves, all the screws are hidden really nice and pulls together nice. So a whole stack of them, and I'm just going to be sitting here. So feel free to ask questions away as it gets busier. If you have a question, Nico, not written and seen for a long time. I know, been a minute. We've been super busy. It's been busy. That's why I haven't even finished the other project yet. So just been busy with kids' sports and school getting out and all that other good stuff. And yeah, it's just been super crazy. So anyways, we're just trying to get back on track, get everything going. We're gonna get this project going the best we can today, and then get it finished up hopefully, and then get back to the girls' bedroom stuff over on the other side. So that was a filthy looking camera screen. Just wipe that off. have any questions, feel free to ask away, like anything about wheelchair stuff or family stuff or project stuff, whatever it is. I'll do the best I can to answer it, or even just hang out and who's gonna date your kids? Nobody. As I said, let's see. Who's gonna date your kids? They'll meet dad and then be like, nah, I'm sorry. Hell, make a tree house out of my bones if I pick you up late. Mad, MAD. It's just abbreviated earlier. They're like, I'm having a hard time struggling to tie my shoes and you're over here building stuff. But so, anyways, that's funny. You're dang right, though. Just like you, and you motivate me. That's Lizette. Oh, Gerardo from Uruguay. Right on. Well, thanks for being here, you guys. Rexy's live. Hey, we're getting some of our familiar names in here. Nico and Rexy's live. So thanks, you guys. Those are our subscribers. It's been a minute. I'm embarrassed. I've been so busy. So anyways, I'm going to get drill on some of this. I'll kind of be checking in on things. Trying to pay somewhat attention to the screen. But if you have a legit question, super chat it or something so it flashes on the screen so I can see, and I'll give you my best answer. But anyways, yeah. Andrea's suggesting that I just kind of ramble on about some story stuff through my years of either construction or law enforcement career stuff or whatever while I'm working. That way everybody's not just yeah. Right. Yeah, so I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to kind of chat but stay busy. I've been working on my multitasking stuff, but anyways, yeah. Maybe I'll just talk more about my injury and what did happen. So, yeah. Once upon a time, I'll just back up to. Try to just back up to when it all happened, like like the day and period of working on that. Okay. How do you find? There's one question. Let me just answer this first. It's a question about arachnoiditis. So let's see. How do you find your flares with arachnoiditis while you're doing your projects? I'm from New Zealand, fellow adhesive arachnoid sufferer, and run a men's mental health group online. So doing the projects is actually really a good thing. It helps to distract and take my mind off of some of the flaring pain. Like, you'll hear me blurp out some either grunts or moans or swear words or stuff from time to time. I swear it gives me Tourette's, just how aggressive the pain kicks in sometimes. And if you have AA, if you have it, then you understand, like, it's just super extreme and comes up. I mean, I have my baseline pain, but then like the flares are just unreal sometimes. So. So I would say that doing the projects definitely helps with the pain. I know that I have medications and stuff for when my pain is flaring and going crazy, and I definitely I don't use it near as often if I'm working on a project. So the projects have excuse me. It's always been sort of that thing that if I'm staying busy and my brain's occupied, like I just deal with it better. Anytime you're just quiet and relaxed or not doing much, like it'll sneak up and really just, yeah, it's crazy. So anyways, that's how I deal with it. If that answers anything there for you. Uh, oh, hey, David, you said? That's awesome. Thanks, David. Appreciate you signing up and being a member. When we're active, which we are going to be way better at, we have a great community for our subscribers and whatnot. So I do appreciate it. That's awesome of you. Thank you. It does help support our family. This is our life now, so it's become quite busy. Yeah, between our social media platforms, we finally hit 1 million followers between the three main platforms. So, hey Rexy, how's it going? So, appreciate it very much. Thank you. This is a pretty cool tool. I just got it, added it to my tool collection. Kind of like one of the things that is just super cool to have and super useful when you're using it. Let's just see what like a flat spot that it works best in. Trying to think if I had. Maybe that would work. Where's that at? Yeah. Where's that? You say where is it? Or
Where is it?
All right. There. I mean, there's the one under Marley's seat at the table, but anyways, this pocket hole jig is pretty cool. So just snap your board in there. These are the shelves. I'm just gonna start having screws into the uprights, so I have like the uprights that run the whole height of the room, and then these will just screw in wherever I place them. So I don't know if it's the right or the best way to do it, but that's the way we're doing it. I do have a lot of years of construction background, mainly in building homes. I've done general contracting, which is where you set everything up for the home and then hire out all the different trades to come in there. I've always been a hands-on guy, and I've always had a hard time hiring people to do work for me. It drives me crazy. In fact, we're way swamped on projects right now, and then we had an opportunity to have our bathroom remodeled yesterday. And I had to that'll be a lot better. I had to pay somebody to come in and do it, which was a great idea. Like they do everything in the day. One day they come in and they demoed it, and, put it all in, and now we finally have a regular size shower for Andrea and I to use. That would be super amazing. But yeah, anyways, used to doing all my own project stuff, but it's hard when you have to hire somebody out doing something that you like doing. But I've got so many of these projects. I've got this room, I've got the other girl's bedroom, and then I have another daughter's bedroom that needs a little bit of work in it. Not too crazy, but we're trying to get everything set up. Trying to get everybody's room all done and have everybody happy with their situations, I guess. Again, those who much love. Thanks, Eric. You out of here, Matt. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. So yeah, see my nerve pain's flaring right now. It's kind of being a butt. It's crazy. The nerve pain is just insane. Sometimes it burns really crazy. Sometimes it feels like I'm being dipped in a vat of, like a tub of ice, but it's like hot, but it's squeezing, and it feels like knives jabbing in my leg. And then there's the one that really gets me. It feels like I'm being electrocuted, like legit. It sucks. It hits really hard. Yeah, doing these projects is really like a great distraction. The more you can keep your mind and body occupied, the less you have time to gripe and worry about stuff. So at least that's my opinion. This marking where to do the holes. It's really cool, so you can kind of see everything. You got this cool little clamp. Boop, lock it in place, and then screw this down through here. Drill this down through here to make the nice hole. Not working.
I just want to put it at an angle where it is. Had it at an angle.
I didn't mean to. Yeah, that works, I think. So, anyways, right. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them out there. Well, Andrea is now kind of on duty over here, so she can answer. Maybe if you have wife questions, family questions too, feel free to throw those out there. And the sky's the limit. We're an open book, so like in vitro questions, kid questions, geez, all sorts of good stuff. So, anyways, yeah, this pocket hole jig, I'm doing all these holes to have the screws be hidden when I assemble these custom shelves over here. Kind of repetitious work, which is why I'm trying to do it live in the middle of it. Just gonna be sitting here for a minute. Let's see, story time though. Story time. If you're curious about how I was paralyzed or how I ended up here in this wheelchair, I have crazy stories. Yeah, let's see, where do I start? Maybe the reason why I was going.
Ask them if they want to hear a cop story, if they want to hear a story of your injury.
Anybody have a preference on the kind of story you want to hear? So, like, I've built homes for, in some degree, one way or another, for like 18, 19 years now. It keeps adding up, but working on stuff with a house. I had like 12 or how many years. Jets flying by outside, so if you can't hear me, I apologize, but I have like 12 years of law enforcement stuff to throw out there or anything like that. So yeah, if you have any preference on what you want to hear about, let me know. Give it just a minute and see if there's any preference, or just about what day-to-day life is like with wheelchair or family. Like, again, we have 6 kids between my wife and I. Let's see what I got there. And we stay pretty active, so our kids are all active in sports or their own activities that they really enjoy, and we just try to play catch up with all that. And do you have any plans for the summer, Rexy? So yes and no. We plan to go camping a lot. So we have our travel trailer, our camp trailer, RV, that we bought last year for Christmas. We have that, and we remodeled that. There's videos on there from when we remodeled that. If you want to check that out, it's all broke down and easy to find. If you go to www.TheWheelchairDad.com, you find those different broken down groups, or I guess on different platforms, I think, like YouTube, it's broke down, so you can check it out that way. See David, I'm not sure what that thing is on there, but see. I have to tell you, I am Corsian. David, I'm not sure what a Corsian is. I look it up, but you want to tell me what it is? A Corsium? Thanks, Castro. Pray every day is a good day. I'm sorry, just 1 second. My nerve pain is getting pretty excited. So is that UBS? I'm working on some shelves, so I'm working on a project here in our master bedroom. If you're following our channel, you'll know that I'm trying to build some bunk beds for my daughters in the other room. That is still ongoing. Had to bail on that. We had like a month where I didn't even get to go into that room at all. And then now that I have a chance to do it, we've had this other opportunity come up that we've got to skip forward and work on this project in our room. So see behind me, this new section. Like, gonna be a electric fireplace right there, and then the TV will mount just above it, and then we'll have a desk and cupboards over on that side, and then a bunch of storage shelves on this side. Gonna put like a cool light on each side, aiming down on the shelves or on the desk, just to throw it on display, and I think it'll be cool. It's kind of fun doing this stuff. I enjoy it, so that's what we're working on. Right now, I'm using what's called a pocket hole jig. Hey, Timmy. Pocket hole jig just lets me drill these holes sideways into these shelves so that I can end up connecting them better and easier when I put the shelves together here in a little bit. And so it's a new tool I got to get. I just recently got. So still, I haven't had a chance to build anything with it yet, so I'm super excited. There's all sorts of these different devices I got it through Amazon, and there's several different kits that you could buy. This one seemed to be make the most sense to me. Like, it's complete with its own clamp and base station and everything. Others were like, you'd have to like figure out a way to clamp it to a table or work desk or something. So this is super easy. I just like get it in here and lock it in place and drill away. Throw out a tool review on it or about it. I'm not being paid or advertised or anything like that to mention them at all, but this is actually a really cool setup. Like, Dad Forever, tinkering, I don't understand why. David, you don't understand why? Does he have like anything else to do, or does he have like health issues of any kind? I know I will forever be tinkering. I like to tinker with cars mostly, or anything with a motor. I've always had a lot of enjoyment in working on cars and boats, motorcycle motors, doing stuff like that. If you were watching recently, I was working on an old 1974 Suzuki 400 Enduro motorcycle for a neighbor friend of ours. The bike hadn't been fired up since like 1994, and so I took it all apart and I wasn't trying to do like a amazing rebuild on it or anything. It's just the gentleman wanted it running for his grandkids to be able to enjoy it. So I got it running. I just need to tune it in, but I do not have time for a minute to finish that, or to finish the other room, or to do much of anything. If you're a new set of ears or eyeballs on here, my name's Dan. My wife is Andrea. TheWheelchairDad is the title because we have 6 kids, and we're just my son wants to be a mechanic. Mechanic's fun. It's like, if he likes tinkering around or like building things, man, you can go all over the place with that as a career or whatever. But we love your total present. Oh man, that was a big comment. Let me read that. Sorry. Let's see, Lorraine. We love your total persistence for living as a husband, father, and a man. stay praying, never give up, because God loves you the most. Kiss the wife and the kids for us, and a family of inspiration, all of you. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you so much. Yeah, God bless you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. As you notice, if you watch or check out our channel much, we definitely recognize God in our lives. He's opened up a lot of opportunity for us. It's been we have a very blessed life, and just hope it keeps on getting better. But this is an amazing opportunity and platform that we've been a part of lately. So anyways, yeah, making all these cool holes. Can't wait to put the shelves up today. I'm stoked. I wanna see it going. Had to stop yesterday in between a bunch of things. Like, oh, I'm all over the place. Yesterday we had a company come in and remodel our bathroom. We used to have just an itty bitty shower in there that it was itty bitty. Like if you would stand up in it, forget the blue thumb and help the chin go. Yeah, it was tiny for like somebody to stand up. Like if you were standing up in there, you felt like if you weren't hunkered into the corner. It was like a small corner shower. Like the curtain, the plastic curtain, would like try to hug you all the time. It was annoying. It was really small. I had to put a shower bench in there so I could use it, but it was still a super small space. Man, this is so cool. I'm just, my son built a huge shower for me. That's nice. Yeah, that's super nice. My son, my 16-year-old son, has been helping me outside with ripping all the shelf material. So we've got, I just bought the great big 4x8 sheets because it's like half the price of buying things already ripped to the width and everything. So we had to set up an operation out front so that we could rip them all, but he was super helpful. Yeah, and then we just got them all ripped down to the width, and then I've just been building away. Love your channel. There's another big one. Hold on. I gotta read these ones. When you put the time in, I'll check it out. Let's see. Love your channel. It's so inspiring. I've been subscribed for over 3 years now. You're such an amazing dad, pushing through all of your challenges to be there for your kids and wife. God bless. Well, thank you. That's crazy if you've been here that long. I think, yeah, we've probably had like a channel or a site for a while. But yeah, we kind of finally pulled the trigger on it and went crazy trying to put content on it a year ago, February. So yeah, the channel has been there for longer, but hasn't been crazy like it is now. So you're really old school, the old OG if you've been here that long. Appreciate it. We do have an option on there to like, so obviously if you're watching the channel, you're like a follower. You're following it if you've liked it and whatnot. But you can also do be a paid subscriber, which supposed to do a couple of things. It opens up opportunity to do the lives and different things that we do for when we do things just for members only. YouTube was struggling getting all that set up. And anyways, I think it might be all kind of going now. It said, hey guys, saw you drive home the other day and you want to wave, but I thought that would be weird. If you guys see us, if you see us in public or whatever, you're more than welcome to say hello. It's honestly so much nicer to like have said hello and met or waved or whatever, than to find out later on that we missed a chance or that you didn't know what to do. Angela said, I never had a dad and looked to you through loving eyes. You didn't quit. Your wife and children are blessed. Imagine if you weren't there. You're gonna make me tear up, so stop it. I don't know why I'm getting all emotional, but thank you. And yeah, stay here, and I'll be your YouTube dad. We get our little family community on here, or whatever they can be a part of with us. I was mentioning, using this tool, I keep on thinking about it, but like talking about like tool review stuff. I know this definitely isn't anything that I normally do. I'm not like a tool reviewer. I will be if you want me to be. Send me your tools and I'll check them out and use them. So if any of you have connections to great companies, especially freaking DeWalt, I seriously love all my DeWalt stuff. So I'm not paid by them in any way, but I always mention them. I seriously love their tools. It's super convenient, it's really good stuff. I've used DeWalt for, years. I've never had anything of theirs like break down and not work. I've either upgraded or bought newer, bigger, badder, cooler things, but never because like something broke down or wasn't working. So yeah, I really like DeWalt's stuff. But this cool pocket hole jig, if any of you are like hobbying around and like looking to do cupboards or shelves or a table or anything that you want to use screws but don't want all the screws showing, this is freaking super cool. I feel like a growing little builder guy with all my fun little tools I keep getting to get. So this is the box, the setup. It's through Howard or Howard, however you say it. I don't even know, but it seriously comes so super complete with everything and super easy to use. The instructions are plain and like the quality of it, it's like super solid. I know I keep saying super loud, but it's really is a cool little tool. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them out there. A tray on this. You see that? I'm not a tray on this. Are you watching the? Oh, gotcha. Excuse me. fun little tool. Fun little thing to do. Seem to always be working on a project of some kind. So I'm sure I'll have lots of chances to keep using it. Again, if you have a question and if you throw it out there while I'm not looking and I miss it, feel free to just keep on reposting it or asking, or I don't mean to ignore you, I'm just trying to get this done. I've got a lot of little holes to drill. You can always throw down a super chat. Can we pray for you? Of course. Teen girl in a big world. We pray for you guys every night. So yeah, you're more than welcome to pray for us. That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Love it. I know I started telling you I could tell you about like stories, do story time while I'm sitting here drilling. I have a crazy life, all sorts of stories. So yeah, it's just I've had several near-death experiences through falling in construction or motorcycle crash stuff. And I was in law enforcement for quite a while, and then worked in some oil fields, drilling, doing all sorts of stuff, and then let's see here, what was that? David, and then SQ would like me to send you Courseman products for you. All sweet, salty. All sweet, salty, is it? Gotcha. Alright, so like, alright, well, like I was saying, I do have quite, interesting life, with all sorts of things that I've got to experience. Talking about the situation that put me here, though, with my wheelchair. Yeah, I had been in law enforcement for a long time, and then had some political crap get all involved, and left that and had to step aside for a minute. So during that time, I was doing a couple of things. I was going to help this friend of a friend build his house, which is what I'm about to get into. And like I said, I built homes for a long time. Started out worked doing some finished carpentry, and then did that for like 6 or 8 months, and then that boss of mine joined in with a guy that was framing custom homes, like building the custom homes, and so we were partnered up for a little bit, and then I ended up just staying there with him and ditched the other job. So I built homes for a long time. Had my own contractor's license for a while, but still I've always just done a lot of the framing stuff, but I've kind of done a little bit of everything through the process of building a house. Which is what put me in a situation where I was asked by this friend of a really good friend of mine if I would help him build his home, and for a really ridiculously small fee, I offered to help him out and to build it. And that's the start of this story. So I was framing this house up. So when I got there, it's just the foundation, the cement foundation and basement, and then I do all the wood, the erecting of the home. And so I had already built all the walls in the basement and built the main floor. So we had the main level all done and all the walls built around the exterior of that home. It's just a pretty big house. I'm trying to remember how big it is. It's bigger than my home here. This one's 2,200 square feet just on this one level. And anyways, it's a pretty big home. Seems like it was like 3,500 square feet, somewhere in there. Pretty big, tall, the 9 and 10 foot walls everywhere. It's a really nice floor plan, really nice home. It was going to be really pretty. It is really pretty. And so it got to a point where we were getting close to needing to build the roof for the house. Like the structures for the roof, it's called a truss. It's like the A-frame. Let's see, A-frame, like that. And but I wasn't quite ready yet. I still needed like several days, maybe like, I don't know, 2 or 3 more days to just get ready. And then if I was gonna set the trusses, you generally you'd have to hire a crane to come out. They have a crane that they drive out onto the site, and then they're able to pick all the trusses up and put them where you need them. And this is when the homeowner, so he was a plumber by trade. He's from the construction field, and he'd been willing and dealing like anybody in that industry would, to kind of swap work for work and try to save money for building his own home. And one of the trades he made was with a guy that owned a crane. It was a really small crane, come to find out, but this homeowner had asked me if we could set trusses. I told him I wasn't ready. I was like, no man, I still need a couple of days, and then I gotta call either my brother or a couple of friends over to come help. You need to have like several people to run the job. And anyways, I told him no. I was like, we're not ready. I'm not ready. I don't even have all the beams up in place to hold some sections of the roof, and a couple of the other walls still need to be built. I just wasn't ready. I hate being rushed. And anyways, this friend of his at the crane had told him that he finally had an opening and he could come over and help. And if he didn't take that opportunity, he didn't know when he'd be able to come back. So the homeowner was pretty hopped up. The homeowner was pretty hopped up and obviously wanting to take advantage of that opportunity to get the trusses set. So he was really pressing, and I told him I wasn't ready. I didn't have enough help. He just continued to meet every one of my excuses that it wasn't ready with a fix, you know, like some way to try to appease it. When I told him I didn't have enough help, he's like, I'll go find the help. I can bring people over. He ended up finding some helpers. They were the main friend that knew both of us owned another company, so he lent his younger, like 20-year-old employees or whatever, younger than, say 18 to 20, something like that, come over and help out just for extra hands and feet on the ground. And anyways, the crane ended up showing up despite me saying that we weren't ready, that I wasn't ready. Ended up showing up, and man, this crane was not, what's the right word for it? It wasn't a crane. It was like I guess it had a crane boom on it. It was just a really small, short boom. It was not big enough to do the job like normal by any stretch of the imagination. Normally you just set the crane up one time and it can set trusses for the whole house and do everything you need, but this one was just too small. But the crane operator was like the same thing. He was trying to say that he would do whatever he needed to make it happen. And anyways, eventually we ended up starting to set the trusses, and those young helpers were on the ground. And when you first start setting the trusses, so they're like these triangle shapes or whatever shape it is, you like run a board, like crazy, like a board like from somewhere on the truss down to a wall or something solid, the floor, something so that it's not going to tip over. And Did I already drill that one or no? Nope. Anyways, so trusses come in like 3 or 4 at a time. I think there were 4 that we had come in, and we braced up all the boards on that. Put all the brace boards on there, and then unhooked the crane, and then the crane booms out there and goes and gets the next set. Well, we'd set 2 sections, and so I'd gone up to the peak of the trusses up here at the top, up here, and went to. I unhooked the crane, and then I was just looking over to see the operation on the ground. The crane operator was getting off the crane to go help the other young boys hook things up. And anyways, at this point, I felt a really crappy feeling when you're up on something. Like, I just felt like the whole thing start to move, and yeah, it scared the crap out of me. Like, I couldn't believe that it was starting. Like, I couldn't believe that it was moving. Excuse me. I remember from that point on, like it started to roll like dominoes. Like they're all just like a whole stack of them, just like. I remember, so there's a board on the top, like this, that had all the other trusses on there. So I was like standing up near the peak on this board, and everything started to roll. And I remember taking like 2 steps across the board, like towards the house, which I don't know why, because I mean there just wasn't anywhere to go. But I was going to the house, took 2 steps, and I remember yelling like, "Oh shiz!" And then the next thing I knew, I was waking up in the hospital. Apparently the boys that had used the nail guns that were there on site or whatever to nail the bracing into something solid, I guess they either, well, we never really did find anything, because they like cleaned everything up before like OSHA or anybody like investigated or had any way to really know what happened. But either the nail gun that the kids used either didn't have any nails in it, or they just didn't nail it into something solid. But consequently, because of that, the whole stack of trusses tipped over with me on top of it. I don't remember anything from the site, like, but obviously paramedics were called, and they determined on the ground when I was there, when they were there, that I was experiencing signs of paralysis. And they loaded me up in an ambulance, which is really annoying, to say, for me to, anyways. I had fallen from about 30 or 35 feet up, and injuries consisted of, like, I had cracked, like somewhat fractured the C1 vertebrae, the vertebrae up at the very top of your spinal column. So that's the one at the very top, and then I used to sling my hammer like right here in the center of my back. There was like a D ring on my leather tool belt that would hold it. It was just, that's where the majority of guys would carry their hammers. And subsequently, when I landed on the ground, I had landed on that D ring and the hammer and whatnot, and like the L1 vertebrae, so about my belly button level, but in the back. When I hit that ring and hammer on the ground with my body and the force and everything, it just exploded that L1 vertebrae, and also broke my tailbone area. So, like, if you know the vertebrae, you come down through that that lumbar area, and then you go into the S vertebrae, which are your sacral vertebrae, and I broke my S 2, 3, and 4. I just crushed them, and then I'd also broke my pelvis in 3 sections, and yeah, it also collapsed my left lung, and then like tore my spleen a little bit. I was like in pretty crappy shape for the fall that happened, but I was still alive, and went to the hospital, experienced all sorts of different things and mixed emotions and experiences there at the hospital, the first hospital I was at. And again, back to the part where I was making a comment about the ambulance taking me up to the hospital. Like, they had pretty good evidence that I was pretty messed up from the fall, and my pelvis region was jacked up. And anyways, there's, here in the US, you have your level 1 and level 2 trauma hospitals, and main reasons for going to a level 1 versus a level 2 are for infants and toddler situations or injuries, and also like pelvis fractures and anything around there. So those are supposed to go to like a higher level of care. Is what I wished had happened is that I had a crew of people that were thinking when they got there, they probably were just trying to hurry because they were super close by, so they got there fast, and then they figured they could drive me up to the hospital quickly. But really, there's no reason to rush too crazy up there. I wish they had done the live flight, like a helicopter ride up there. Yeah, it was crazy. So I got up to the hospital and started finding out. Well, I was still really out of it for a long time, but started trying to figure out what was going on. I remember the doctors would come in and have me wiggle my toes and like lift my feet, like you're pressing the gas on the gas pedal on the car and stuff. And initially, I could still wiggle my toes and I could move my feet. And I didn't really understand the significance of all that in the moment. I was like just really out of it still. I just remember how impressed the doctor seemed to be, so I was like, you're doing good. Anyways, we ended up staying at the hospital for several days. I was just laying on, they have these beds that like move the different air chambers around if you're like postured and just having to lay in one spot for a little bit. But I was laying on one of those beds. Like I wasn't secured or anything. It was just laying there. It's crazy. There wasn't anything really to hold me in place. Meanwhile, they knew that they had started to do x-rays and started to understand that I was like in complete, like 2 different pieces and had all these different injuries, and they were waiting for, so they had a spinal specialist come into the hospital that was called in for the injury, and his assessment, he wanted to do some surgical procedure, but the hospital, which was a level 2 hospital anyways, didn't have the parts that they needed to do the procedure that he wanted to do. So they had to get on to the Amazon of hospital supplies or something and order the parts to do the surgery. And it was going to take several more days. So after I'd been there for 3 days already, or 3 or 4 days, they said it was going to be 3 or 4 days more. Like I gotta be like there's so much to complain about and be frustrated about, because there's all sorts of things that they were supposed to do or could do to help treat a spinal cord patient, to help things not continue to progress and get worse. Like there's different things they could do to help relieve some of the pressure and different things on the spinal cord to avoid further injury, and they just didn't do any of the different protocols that most other doctors seem to agree should be or should have been done or should have been employed at that point. But anyways, when my family found out it was going to be more days of waiting, my mom and my aunt decided they would try to use connections at another hospital that my aunt worked at. She worked with the spinal or neuro division there, so she was trying to get me moved up to the University of Utah hospital up here, and ended up getting that arranged, and then I was loaded onto another gurney in another hospital, and then was driven, like 45-minute, hour away drive. It was like 4 days after my injury, and I was still having to do like barrel rolls where they like, at the same time, let's roll them, don't move this half before that half, type of a thing, and got me up to the other hospital, and read like the surgeon reports and different things. So there's like a whole bunch of information about what the doctor thought or wished had happened already that hadn't from his. So in his opinion, he was frustrated with what he was being given to work with. Let's see. Can you hand me the DeWalt battery charger over there, babe? I'm starting to wear this thing down. Let's see. Plug it in. I have the extension cord over there. Okay. Yeah, so thank you. Yep. So, anyways, long story short, at that point, went in for surgery. When I came out of surgery, I no longer could move my feet or wiggle my toes. Like the swelling had just gotten so crazy. My legs were like double or triple than the size they normally were. They were so big, just like swollen up with edema or whatever. They were so heavy. I remember that, like feeling that. But yeah, it was definitely interesting and frustrating. The next 3 months is doing physical therapy and trying to get to see where I was going to end up physically. And that was crazy. At that point, I didn't know that like I had a fractured pelvis, and I didn't know like that my whole sacral region was smashed. Like I understood that I had a broken back, but like, I didn't know all the other details of it. But I was doing physical therapy every day, and I was having the hardest time. It was so, gosh, it was so painful. I felt, and I'm usually like Johnny Bad, like feeling like I'm super tough and have a high pain tolerance, and like, I don't know, just like not give in for things, but it was rough. Like they had broke my ribs surgically or medically, whatever, so that they could go in. They had to do this weird cage thing around my spine and put in a metal spacer and put like bone graft material all around that so that it would grow around it. And yeah, like I was in rough shape for a while, and then it got real personal and frustrating. And like when you have a spinal cord injury, like there's all sorts of things that are affected. Let's see, with a spinal cord injury and the level of it, it depends on which things in your body are affected, and basically they have it broke down to like each level of the vertebrae. Like this section of your body is going to be challenged or limited in some way, or that's where you're going to be working with. And with the L1 injury, there was like I was going to need like a bowel care program. That's where they have to help you, or you end up doing some other means to try to relieve your bowels and bladder and You know, had to have a catheter in, like, the whole time I was doing stuff. It was, crazy. Just before all of that, that accident and everything happened. So I was married at the time, and I had two. Oh, so like I knew the guy. Okay, sorry, Andrea. Just my wife was just saying that a few people were asking about if I'm still friends with the guy, the homeowner. Um, so we were friendly. Like I knew him. Like I had met him at several parties. Like I used to live a different lifestyle back years ago, just before that time in my life. Like I had already started ditching the old party lifestyle and drinking, and had quit drinking and all that. But anyway, so I'd seen him and met him at several parties and things that our friends had, and we'd always like be cool with each other and wrestle around and mess around. But um, it was crazy. So I had that accident, and that friend, not that friend of my friends, I will say, uh, never even once came up to the hospital, and never paid me for like the work that I had done, like building his house up to that point. Not he hadn't paid one penny towards me. And like I said, I built like the basement, the main floor, all the walls on the main floor. Like it was like 90% done with all of the wall construction of it. But um, yeah, he never came up. I never talked to him. Um, he just avoided the hospital, avoided everything. So, quick answer is no. We're not friends. Like there was a time when I finally got out of the hospital that I was. What do you need, baby girl?
I need a band-aid.
Oh, Band-Aid?
Because I have some skin peeling off of my toe.
Oh, let me get you. I don't have a tiny Band-Aid, but I have a bigger one. Let's see.
I don't want a bigger one.
You don't want? I don't know. I'll show you what I have. Let me just double check. But, oh, I do have one more. Okay. Anyways, was when I got out of the hospital, I didn't have a job, and I was really struggling, wondering where money was going to be coming from. And I had called him up, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, if there's any way you can," like, I was really biting my tongue when I called him to like not piss him off or get him on the defense about not coming to the hospital. But, oh, oops, can't do that. You okay? Um, he had. Can you up here anymore? Which toilet was that?
It was right here.
Oh, okay. I'll fix that up for you. Anyways, I'd asked him if there was any way he could pay me what he owed me, and he's like, "Man, I can't really." He's like, "I'm so strapped." Oh, please don't do that, sweetheart. And he was saying the bank wasn't going to give him any more money for a minute, and yeah, I don't know. He just bounced things around, but he basically was like, "Dude, if you can even just give me like $100 a month or something, and until anything would help, because I don't have any money coming in right now." And yeah, he never. He said he would see what he could do, and then he never ended up coming through with anything. You okay, sweetheart? Sorry, I'm doing a band-aid on my daughter's toe super fast. So just fold it over a tiny bit. Let me fix that. Let's see, let's get that on there. Alright, there you go, honey. Okay. Kind of crazy. Make it. There you go. So yeah, never paid anything for me, and then like we just had his homeowner's policy. I don't even know how he built. Like I has a contractor license, and I had to have like $1 million policy for like even doing small jobs, but somehow he was able to build his home with just his homeowner's policy. And anyways, that's a whole nother can of worms, because he ended up like trying to help fight that, and was lying his butt off on that, try to help his insurance company escape any liability on that, which is really annoying. But after, hey honey, can you turn that down? We were in litigation trying to get anything to happen. He filed for bankruptcy so that he wouldn't get dinged or lose anything of his, but yeah, so again, sorry, it took like 8 years before we finally settled on that, and won the small amount that his homeowner's policy was, which technically I think I got something like $30,000 or something, which is a slap in the face for 8 years of the rest of my life being different and crappy. And I mean, I have a wonderful life now, but you know what I mean, like being not my own choice to be paralyzed. Now they have all the people these days that I feel like I identify as a spinal cord patient, so like cut some nerves or something. But it wasn't anything like that. Like, just super frustrating to find out that I was going to be paralyzed. I had a lot of things in my life changed during that time. I was married, as well. Starting to say I was married. Had been married for what, like 11 years or something, and we've been together for like 13 or somewhere in there. But we were in the middle of a divorce that finalized when I was in the hospital, and then yeah, so that was different. And I was left with the house and all the stuff that we had owed money on. Like, she just kind of was able to. She was trying to focus on her new life, and there's just a lot of things that we're going through. And fortunately for me, at the time, my new ex-wife, like, she was really, really good for a while at bringing my daughters up to the hospital. Quite a bit for she definitely didn't have to do that, but she'd bring them up quite often, which was helpful. Anyways, that's the story of how I got paralyzed, and then I dedicated, or decided at that point, like the next year, I was going to make rehab my job. I was gonna, like, I was bound and determined to be able to walk still, so I went to physical therapy 5 days a week, some days twice, like, some days, like, um, like do the physical therapy, and then I'd stay and do all their other therapy stuff, but I was rehabbing at 2 different facilities so that I could try to maximize my results. One was like pool therapy, and then the other one I just called land therapy. So I had both places I was going to, and unfortunately, obviously, I wasn't able to get to where I could walk. But one amazing, incredible thing happened while going through therapy, physical therapy, was that I met Andrea, my wife now, and yeah, more on that if you check out our landing page. If you go to TheWheelchairDad.com, you can see podcasts and other links that kind of go into more detail on how we met and all that good stuff. But when we met, she had a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, and so did I. I had a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. And like when I was in the hospital, my daughter was still 18 months and 6.5, so little youngsters. And then, anyways, my girls were both born in November, and her boys were both February babies. So they're just like 3 months apart from like being the same ages, which was kind of cool and unique. But eventually we ended up dating and getting married, and the rest is history. So we got married in 2014, and decided in 2019 that we were short a couple of babies, or at least one baby. So we had to use in vitro fertilization, like to help get pregnant. If you're not familiar with what that is, like basically take the guy's sperm and the woman's egg outside of the body, and they combine them, and then grow that into the embryo, and then implant that. It's freaking crazy. It was an emotional roller coaster too. Like the first round that we did, we ended up having a miscarriage, and then had to start it, like go again, and we had a frozen embryo. So our daughter that just turned 4, she was a frozen embryo. So they just like defrost that little embryo and implant that. It's way more complicated than that. There's still a lot of shots and work that go into getting to that point, but but yeah, we got pregnant again, and this time we found out we were pregnant with twins. We were gonna have 2 babies, we thought, which was crazy. And then one of the babies like stopped growing really early on, like 10 weeks or something like that, and so we ended up having Maisie, which was pretty dang amazing. Like that whole experience, holy cow! It's still just amazing that and then we shortly after having Maisie and starting to run life with her, we decided we needed to have another one. Like, these decisions were not taken lightly. It was a ton of money that we didn't have. It was a ton of time that didn't have. There was this, it was crazy. It was definitely through the grace of God that we were given the opportunity and that we made it through it. It's just insane. we ended up with our two little babies that we have now, and so it was pretty crazy. We have a really interesting, busy life. Our schedules are crazy. We're always getting to experience fun baby stories, kid stories, funny things. They're just crazy characters. It's fun. Let's see. And this tool is seriously so cool. It's so solid. You can just tell it's built like really nice. It's all really nice, machined aluminum, and just, gosh, it's so cool. It's kind of fun to use. I'll tell you that. The drill bit on this thing is weird. So it comes with these drill bits. So when it's drilling the hole, it drills the angle right there. It drills that in, and then this little guy is like a starter hole for your screw when you go to put your screw in, to screw it to the shelf like this, like when you screw it. It's all hidden. Really, really cool. Did I just drill that? Seriously. Keep losing track. Yep, I did. Alright. Yeah, definitely, man, if there was anybody that's hobbying, looking for a new cool tool to add to their pile of fun man tools or woman tools, shop tools, like that's a cool one. This thing is crazy. So it comes with like two of these bits and like the collars that hold how far it drills in and all that, and then this is a different base that you can use for different material that you're doing, and then these are for the screws. They're just longer bits to make it easy to get down in there, and it really is. You don't have to have, you just have to have an idea of what you want to do. It doesn't take a lot of skill to be able to use it. Really, it's really a cool design. Like everything's laid out on it for like your wood thicknesses on where to have the clamp, where to put your the collar on the drill bit. There's no thinking work on there. You just put everything to slide out everything to, like, for me the wood's 3/4 inches, so I just slide everything over to the 3/4 inch mark, and then it makes me look like I know what I'm doing, even if I don't. Like I've done like custom closets and shelving things like that before, but I've never done like fancy things like this. I've always just drilled a bunch of pre-hole, like guide holes, and then widen the end out so that the drill bit, and so that the screw would sit down flush. It's like a ton of work to do, and then you still see all the screws when you do it that way. Anyways, I'll be assembling the shelves here, and I've got one more shelf after this one, and then I can start screwing these into the uprights and start building my shelves. Yeah, back on the injury stuff, that home, the friend of a friend, he still lives in that home. It's super amazing. It's got all sorts of beautiful rock work around it and beautiful stuff everywhere. I shouldn't be bugged by it, but anyways, he's not missing out on much. So, but I really do have a blessed life, and like it's crazy to address the outcome of everything, because like I right now looking at everything, like I wouldn't change it for the world. My life has a really large purpose, it seems now, with our social media stuff and trying to help people that are experiencing life's challenges in other ways. We're trying to put hope and inspiration out there for people, and it, like reading through the comments and stuff, it seems pretty amazing and connecting that way most of the time. Definitely wouldn't be. Who knows where my life would have been if I obviously hadn't been injured. But definitely wouldn't be where it's at now, which I'm very grateful and very blessed to have the life that I do with my wife and kids, and the relationships I have with my wife and kids and everything. I've had a chance to work my life into a much better place as far as being a good dad for my kids, and leading them the way that I feel I should be. Like it's like brought a lot of good into my life geez, a lot of just amazing good and goodness into my life. It was a very humbling experience. Took me from thinking that I was the biggest, toughest, coolest, whatever, tough guy. Ladies man thinking goober that into something much more refined and better for sure. So it's a crazy questions a lot of people will ask. It's been asked a lot of times, like if I could change things, would I? And like that's a really tricky question to answer, but like looking at it, I wouldn't. Like the purpose and the fulfillment that I get, like we do now, personally and for our kids and everything, it just would be really different. Who knows which way, but I feel like we're in a pretty good place. So, and this is just, it feels like it's still just the beginning of a lot of potential that we have to continue to grow our presence here online and like share our life and our story with people and just help people that are help like have a lot of different opportunities to help people that are struggling along the way with some of our stories or our example or with our page, even our social media stuff, like the adhesive arachnoiditis, the pain condition that I have, the nerve pain. It's like a really rarely diagnosed diagnosis. And been able to help multiple people that are dealing with the pain of adhesive arachnoiditis and not having a clue what it is, and their doctors not having a clue what it is, and being able to help people that have been experiencing that for nearly 20 years finally have an answer. And it took us 4.5 years before we stumbled into figuring out what it was. And then we were really blessed with an opportunity to meet a specialist in California, like another state, out of our state, that he had worked his life's medical career into treating arachnoiditis, and so yeah, it changed my life. I used to be in this horrible like repetitive bursts of nerve pain all throughout every day. It was exhausting, mentally, physically. It was mentally and physically exhausting on our marriage and on our family life and with our kids. I was just super short because I was in so much pain. I couldn't even concentrate sometimes and do the things I needed to do to be a good dad and husband and all that. This platform has allowed us to do a lot of good amazing. Again, I appreciate everybody that's been here and hanging out. Those who still, if you're here and face, my name's Dan. My wife is Andrea. And, we have 6 kids. We run this platform to try to help bring hope and inspiration to people. Hopefully we do that at least a couple times. I was paralyzed in a construction accident almost 10 years ago, and that's what I was just talking about, telling that whole story, and talking about the friend of a friend whose house it was, and some of the trouble associated with all that. So feel free to go back and listen to it if you didn't hear it. If you've been here, excuse me, you have gotten anything positive out of our channel, like, please just like and subscribe and share if you can. We're still just trying to grow and share and get all of this out there to the people who need it. We're going to end this live in a minute and get set up to start assembling my shelves. If you have any questions, I'll still be on here for a few minutes, but goodness, if you have a question and I haven't been able to get to you, I know it costs a little bit, but if you do super chat, I'll be able to see it for sure, get an answer to you, or at least talk about whatever your question is. So feel free to do that. What's that? Oh, I thought you said something. Yeah, hopefully by the end of the day, this room is going to look a lot different with the shelves up. I'm going to be building some cupboards and things. Let's see. Can you do me a favor, love? Yeah. In my second drawer down, I think, is that clipboard with all the papers on it. There's the diagram of the plan of what they've drawn up on the very last page of it, or if you just want to hand it to me and grab it. Let's see. So when I do a project, I like to be able to be on the same page with what's going on. Got to draw something, so I've got an idea where to go with it on these bigger projects. But so this is what I'm building here. So I just cut all of or not cut, but put the holes in all the different shelves that are going in here, and then I've got all my uprights already cut, and this section up here behind me. I can still talk. Somewhere in there, still see. Anyway, it's like gonna have the TV wall mount back up here. We used to have the TV there, and then do an electric fireplace down here on the bottom. Then that side, I'm gonna have the cupboards, and then the other side will be all of the shelves. I'll show the picture one more time. Oops, this thing's spin up. There we go. again, this is hold on the right way. The idea, the little plan that I sketched up to see what I'm doing. It's gonna be a little bit different now. There's gonna be a space above this right here. We have the crown molding in the room already that you see up here behind me, right there. So that's going to still wrap around the top, and then there's going to be like a 3 or 4 inch piece of flat right here before the shelves start. And I'll have a light, like a display light that maybe sticks out like an arm and has the light aiming back at the cupboards. Something cool. Yeah, I've got to run some electrical. It's going to be easy because on the bottom. It's also going to be a little bit different on the bottom of my drawing here. It's going to be like right now I've got like 8 inches of baseboard, so it'll have like the 8 inches of baseboard and then like a 4-inch space of like flat wall before the shelf starts. So I lose one of these rows with shrinking both of those, but it'll just bring it together. Yeah, so I'm gonna go start building the shelves. Again, I've got the uprights all cut right here behind me. I'm gonna have to get set up. That's why I'm gonna end the live so that I can get things set up for this next part. But if you're a follower, if you've been following for a minute, a beautiful family, thank you. I hope if you feel like I've ignored you, I apologize. I've been just really trying to rush through this. We're on a time crunch. Have I always been good at mechanics? No. Like, I was never taught anything growing up. I bought a pickup truck when I was the truck that made me start learning. Like, I bought a small little pickup truck when I was 17 years old. Well, yeah, 17. And then the truck that really broke me into wrenching around was this 1986 Chevy Scottsdale pickup truck. It was black. It was really cool. Just a little standard cab, short bed with a 4-speed manual transmission. It was really cool. Corsia. I'm gonna pull up Corsia. C-O. Yeah. What? C-O-R-S-I-C-A. David, I apologize. I'm gonna pull this up in a minute so I know. I feel bad. I don't know if you're talking about a place or a product or what, but I appreciate you signing up to be a subscriber. Those who have found any value in our channel and you're still hanging out and you're not subscribed to the channel, it'd be appreciated if anyone could subscribe. I think we have a pretty small setup on there, like $2.99 or something, but is the smallest the smallest of the memberships, and yeah, this is our life and livelihood now, is to try to provide this content and platform for everybody, and hopefully you guys are liking it. We'll just keep it going the way that we've been doing. It still seems to be growing. Like I said, really amazing, really blessed thing in the this last week, we finally hit combined 1 million followers between TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So, thanks, David. See, man, we have seriously the coolest family crew on our subscribers. So thanks. Anyways, any other questions? Feel free to throw it out there. This what you got? Sure. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm about to cut this live short and get to work on the next step. Maybe I'll throw another live on in a little bit. But thanks again. Thanks for your time, everybody. We really do appreciate all of you for being here and all of the continued support with our channel. So thank you so much. God bless all of you, and we'll look forward to the next one.